Okay, so, you know, Thou Shalt Kill. This is the brand new film from Richard Friedman, written by Nathan Illsley. The film is produced by Richard Friedman, Vince Lozano. It is executive produced by Tom Malloy and Shakad Berenson. It's associate produced by J. James Dorsey, Ray Kakoi Rados II, and Metap Yidson. Co-produced by Pat Kusnadi and Tommy Brunswick, with line production from John Castro, who also produces. Yeah, sometimes it gets a little squirrely, people. Neil Casey took care of cinematography. John Riddle is down with the editing. Special effects, makeup, all that blood and gore and whatnot. We got Nicole Bailing, Victoria Santabananis, and Daniel Sakura. Our stunt people, we got Robert Stephen Brown, Tommy Brunswick, Emma Friedman, Pat Kusnadi, and Vince Lozano. Right, so our cast. Shannon Donner is played by Augie Duke. Right, her ex-wife Jamie is played by Delia Andre. Her son Albie is played by Aidan Lozano. Her sister, I'm assuming it's her sister, Danielle, is played by Alexis Icano. Right? Then we have got Hank, right? Our priest, played by Vince Lozano. There is Jeff Leibowitz, the lawyer, played by Tom Malloy. Lefty is played by J. James Dorsey. Our couple we meet at the very beginning having the affair is played by James Arthur Lewis and Melanie Jane. Our nurse is played by Amy Erdus. Yeah, I mean, a lot of the other people we just kind of, I don't know, it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird, but that's the main lot, okay? The gist is this. A distraught ex-alcoholic mother who has nothing left to fear in life is confronted one night in her car by a crazed serial killer who can only kill those who fear him. Right? Now, yeah, right? Like, the notion of fear is, I don't know. It's weird. The director, Richard Friedman, said this: the concept of a killer who preys only on those who fear him raises the stakes in a unique way. I don't know about that, right? Because really, when you think about it, anyone confronted by a killer is scared of that person. I don't think there's probably been any time when someone isn't afraid of the person threatening to kill them. You know? So it doesn't really, like, the notion, like, you can kind of see where they're trying to come from, right? This person is so righteous, right? They're only killing this type of people. Yeah, I get that. I can see that. But it doesn't quite work. Doesn't quite work. Now we start off, right? And we've got this guy in the shadows. There's this couple in bed, their hands and feet are tied, and he's talking to them like, right, yeah, I'm gonna kill you. You scared of me. You're scared of me. I can smell your fear, and just all of this stuff. And yeah, then he kills them, right? That's how we meet it. And I think I like the fact that they kept, Hank, that's who it is. That's who we learn it is, right? In the shadows. For the most part, we don't really get a good look at him. Which are like, okay, yeah, right, cool. So after that, we then are kind of, we meet, Shannon. She's in a car and she gives her sister a call. Then, she calls her lawyer and we get this kind of backstory, right? She's going through a divorce and her ex now is looking for sole custody of their child, their son, But like the conversation, so we get her talking to her sister, her lawyer, and her ex. All of those conversations feel very weird. Like nothing feels natural. Right? I didn't buy any of these interactions. Right? Like it didn't feel like she's talking to her sister. Didn't feel like she's talking to an ex. Didn't feel like the whole lawyer thing. But supposedly he's left her a voice message, and she's just like, "Oh, I don't see a voice message." And it's just like I haven't spoken. But she tells her sister, "I haven't spoken to him for a few days." Right? So it's kind of like, okay, if a message was, how do you miss a message? It is all a bit weird. And like the conversation she has with her sister, we touch upon this addiction she had, right? But then when she's talking to a lawyer and he's pointing some things out, it's kind of like, oh, well, I don't see. And this is like, I mean, you're an addict, right? You know that these are the things which you feel would have been spoken about in the initial meeting with the lawyer, right? So it all gets very, very weird. You know what I mean? And the timeline is very odd, because when she's initially having these conversations, she's kind of talking to these people at the start and it's nighttime, right? And you're like, okay, fine, all right. I mean, it's dark. So I'm going to say it seems like it's nighttime. So it just feels kind of weird conversation, like calling the lawyer at night. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what's actually the time here? What are we doing? And that's, I think, an ongoing thing with this film, right? Timelines, right? Notions, because we get these flashbacks of her and her son, having meant to be these sweet little moments, right? And then to other incidents with the son that you can think, okay, that might have led to the divorce, maybe, So we have all of this. Now, I will say there is the conversation with her ex gets a little weird, right? There's some things that get said that you do kind of question in your head, but it could be because of the alcoholism, right? Forgetfulness on years and things such as that. But because we have this conversation with the lawyer, it doesn't really make any sense. That's the thing here. That is the big thing. And so, like, as I said, we have these flashbacks throughout the film. Throughout the film, we have these different flashbacks. And I feel we need some sort of time indicator. Because, like, it's all well and good playing with the audience, right? Going, this is what you think you're seeing, but this is the reality of it all. Boom, that can work very well. We've seen it work very well. But there's usually like these little hints, these little clues. And you're like, okay. All right, I fear I see what's going on here. With this, it's all a little messy. It's all a little messy. And there's just so many things that make absolutely no sense. Right? And as I said, with the beginning, you don't buy any of the conversations that Shannon is having. But then you do not buy the relationship with her son. It just comes off very wooden. Right? Comes off very wooden. And look, kid actors can be tough. Right? Because they haven't been through life experiences, right? Or maybe they have. Maybe they've gone through some things. But it's being able to channel that, being able to project that. You know? Not everyone can do that. That adults can struggle doing that. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's the direction they're getting, right? Sometimes it's a script. In this, I don't really know. Like, there's nothing seems to work. I mean, I didn't think it seemed to work, right? You might enjoy this. For me, like, it gets kind of messy, right? So you're not buying this relationship at all. Like, the acting is wooden. So we have that. But then with the whole killer, right, the motivations are weird, right? There's this bit where he's talking about, these are the people I've killed. And there's a few times when he talks about, I mean, even at the beginning when we see him with the couple, right? Where there's more than one person. And it's just like, I can buy you overpowering one person. But how did you get multiple people? Right? That's where it's like, huh? How did this person get multiple people? Right? So you're scratching your head on that. There's a bit when they're talking about the number of people he killed. And he's like, yes, I killed more than 11. And then a bit later, he's like, you will be my 12th. So you're just like, so what is it? You know what I mean? Like, did something get edited out and then they missed that? I don't know. Right? But then we have him talking about an incident that happened. And we just get him go, I saw everything. And you're just like, if you saw everything, why wouldn't you stop it before it gets to a certain point? Right? Like, there's these two moments where he's supposedly seeing all the events that are going down, but does nothing to stop those events. And you're just like, what? And also the whole fear thing. Because from all accounts, the first person he kills, he kind of sneaks up on. So you're not necessarily only killing people that fear you, right? So there's just so many inconsistencies with this story, right? And that is before we get to the end. Before we get to the end, where you're like, because there's a bit where you're kind of thinking to yourself, they can't do this thing, right? Because if they do this thing, firstly, it's nuts. And it doesn't make any sense for what we've had at the beginning. But they do the thing. They do the thing, which just then makes nothing make any sort of sense, right? Nothing makes any sort of sense. And then we get this other revelation, and you're just like, what? But all of a sudden, it's daytime. So it is super confusing because the beginning and the end of the film do not connect. They don't connect. So you are left baffled. I mean, I was left baffled. I might be real thick, right? I missed a whole heap of things. Maybe I did, right? That could be me. I missed all of these super intricate clues, which, you know, everyone else has seen, and they're like, oh my God, this was crazy the way they wove all of this together. Maybe I did, people. Now, if you are smarter than me and you will see all of these things, then I'm sure you will thoroughly enjoy this film. You know, it for me, it just kind of came, yeah, it didn't make any sense. Didn't make any sense, right? Where does Hank come from? What is the real situation with, you know, Shannon and Jamie? Like, yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot. Also, what's up with the box? What's up with that box? Was that box, that would stink, right? Just think of how bad that box would smell. Think of how bad that box would smell. Right? Yeah. It's just like the script doesn't make any sense. I felt the acting was kind of wooden. There's just a lot here that I just didn't think worked. Now, there's plenty of things that I have not enjoyed and other people have loved, right? I didn't enjoy Beetlejuice. Yeah, like, there's so many people I've spoken to that are like, I really love that film, right? And I'm just like, did we watch the same thing? You know what I mean? Right? So sometimes people, our tastes will differ, right? Sometimes our tastes will differ. You know what I mean? So yeah, there's just many things that will play into your enjoyment of this film. You know? Like, I think if you liked, oh my gosh, like things like The Beast Within, right? We looked at that last week. what other things could, like Monster Summer. I think they're probably all better than Thou Shalt Kill. But I think Do Not Open. I think that's a very good one. If you enjoy Do Not Open, I think you will enjoy Thou Shalt Kill. Okay? I think that is probably the best reference point I can give you. Now, Thou Shalt Kill is available on all your favorite VODs. So if it seems like it could be something for you, go check it out, people. Go check it out.